Today, I'm going to unbox Napoleon 1815 Waterloo. This is from Shakos Publishing, which is a French company, I believe. And I reached out to them asking about this game or asking about their whole series of game. This is part of the Conquerors Series, in which they have at least think two other games, Napoleon 1806 and Napoleon 1807, and there's saw a lot of buzz about those games and saw some other social media commentators and other people talking about it, and it looked very interesting. So I reached out to Shakos and they sent me this, so I want to thank them for sending this to me because this is relatively new release. I want to share it with you, and I want to get to the table, and I want to do some more content on it because this looks like a very interesting game, and more importantly, an interesting series, this Conquerors series. I think they all share some similar mechanics and themes. The designer is Denis Sauvage, and I believe that he's done several games for Victus, the French war game magazine, and I think he's the designer of all the games in the Conqueror series, which I think there are 3 currently, and hopefully more. At least I say hopefully more. I want to play this, and then we'll see if I say hopefully more. But this is a beautiful looking game. It has some very, again, interesting mechanics, and so really want to get into this. Another thing that kind of is excites me about this game, or makes it even more interesting to me, is kind of a little bit of a Napoleonic file. Studied a lot of this over the years and have always been very interested in this era and Napoleon as a commander. And I've done a kind of an exploration about Napoleon, about games dealing with Waterloo, and I'll put a link to that in the description of this, so you can go check that out. That was a while back. But, Waterloo has been a battle. I started studying Waterloo, I think, when I was in, like, 7th or 8th grade, and it's always been something that I've looked to over the years. Maybe it gets too much press. It's one of the big battles that gets a lot of attention and gets a lot of, especially from designers. So there's a lot of Waterloo games out there. It falls into the category of, Gettysburg and the Bulge and Market Garden and the like. So anyway, enough of that. Let's look at this box. I think this is very nicely done. I like the art on this. On the back of the box, you get an example of what is inside. You get the map. It's a point-to-point map. It has blocks, but it's really not necessarily a block game. The blocks are mainly representing the leaders on the board, and you keep track of your unit's strength and morale and what have you. Hidden. You can hide them hidden behind screens, or you can, I guess, have that as open information. I guess that depends on how you want to play. And as you can see here, you have the British, the French, and the Prussians, the 3 main factions battling at Waterloo. It says it's for 2 to 3 players, hence the 3 factions. 90 minutes, 14 plus to play, and then it has a mounted board. And let's get in this box. This is just too much to hold back here. Again, I want to thank Shakos, if I'm pronouncing that right. I never pronounce names or anything correctly, so why start now? But I want to thank Shakos for sending this. This looks wonderful. So big square box here, kind of reminiscent of like the Euro or hobby game type box. Not super thick. It's not one of like what you might see like from GMT or DVG or some of those other ones, but not bad. It's just not that super reinforced thick kind. And I believe all the ones in the Conqueror series, I believe, come in a similar box. So they're all kind of the same size. So if you're interested in collecting the whole set, you know what to put, know enough space to reserve on your shelf. Here's the rule book. Here's the scenarios. So let's take a look at this rule book first here. I always start at the back. 19 pages is the rule book, and this is details on playing cards. So this is just maybe some explanation about some of the playing cards here. And so that starts on 17. Here's 3-player rules on 16. Rules of the Grognarg. So that this is dealing with that fog of war. This is where like you're using the screens. So I guess that's the advanced play. Page 14 is determining victory. So 14 pages of rules, it looks like. And it's dual column. There's color. Font size is decent. So, not too in depth there. Here's an example of combat. Here's an example of movement. Here's your sequence of play. Here's the operations, recovery. Here's key game terms. Here's an explanation of the cards. So I would assume this is probably a card-driven game. You've got some numbers up here. I think you use those for maybe movement or operations. Movement points or initiative value. So yeah, so the numbers for movement points or initiative value. This is for your combat. Yeah, I think this is, if I remember correctly, the bottom is you can use that for instead of dice. I mean, the game comes with dice, but you can use just cards. But if you don't want to burn through your cards a la Combat Commander, then you can use dice instead. The new Lock and Load Point Blank uses cards as dice as well. So that's becoming a becoming a fad, so to speak. So this explains your playing cards, and kind of cool. They're very, very colorful. I just have to say, it just kind of jumps out at you. Here's your stack. So like when you're stacking the leaders or the blocks, that's going to make a difference, like on movement. So like if you want to use this 3 movement card and you have 1 unit in there, then you can move up to 3 places. But if you have 2 blocks or 2 leaders in there, then you can only move 2. And if you have 3, you can only move 1, and it's the like. So that the number of the stack or the number of the leaders you have in there is going to make a difference in how effective the card's going to be. And here's your game setup. So you've got your setup here, the map, where the units start, what the strength values are for the 3 different factions, and the like. So to win Napoleon 1815, you must eliminate opponent's strength points, control some of the towns, fortified farms, and fortified towns. Okay. Interesting. So there's going to be some victory point or objective locations that you need to control there. Okay. And then here's your component list. So as you can see, you get some bags here. You get some boards to mark your strength points of the different the different commanders, the forces that are under them. There's dice. There's cubes. There's little flags here. I think that's if you're controlling control that either that farm or that village or whatever you need to control in the game. That shows that. You have wooden arrows that show you retreat. There's some rules on special rules on how you retreat. As I said, this game has some not necessarily the novel, but somewhat unique mechanics and how they're tracking stuff. I mean, there's other games that have tracked your strength points on a separate board, but the way they do this with the strength points and the morale or exhaustion, or I don't know what the term is. I'll have to look it up when we see the board. But that makes a difference on combat and makes a difference on, you can have a force, route without losing all the strength points. It can still have several strength points, but if morale goes so high, it routes, and so that's all tracked on this board. So it's kind of an interesting thing here. And the way they use the cards is a little bit different than normally cards are used. You have these retreat rules are a little bit different. So, I mean, there's enough here to, you know, sink your teeth into and get a different experience. Here's the scenario book. And so I guess they're marked as easy, average, and difficult on the different scenarios here. So this is scenario 1, Waterloo, 3 turns. This looks like it's the easy one. Here is Ligny and Quataba, 2 on the 6 turns and 2 on difficulty. The central position, 2 on difficulty. The Belgium campaign is 3 difficulty. The Last Days of the Grand Army is 10 turns, and that's 3 difficulty. And then you've got a campaign history and designer notes there. So quite a few scenarios there. I imagine this last one might be the full thing here, the scenario 5. It's 10 turns is the longest one. Well, the Belgian campaign's 10 turns too. So anyway, there's your scenarios that you can play out of this. Here is, I think this is the quick start version. So if you just want to get right into the game and maybe not play with all the rules right out of the box, you've got your quick startup here. Talks you how to move and how to engage in combat and fatigue. Fatigue, that's the term I think I was looking for, fatigue. And there you have it. So, I mean, I think you can actually start playing the game with just this little insert here, 4-page insert, and then look at the rules as needed. Here is the board, and this is a beautiful looking board. Let's get to that in a second here. Let's see what else we got in the box. Here are those shields that you can, if you play the Grog-Nog method, that you can hide your forces. But they also have everything you need on a game sequence, background color of the event. So there's 3 different types of events, red, blue, and green. And they tell you they do different things. 2-player card, 3-player card, moving, combat, commander. So this is all the iconography and different notations you might need to play the game, all right there on your screen. And this is the Prussian screen here. Here's the British screen, and they're all the same on the back, I would imagine. Just the front is different. So pretty cool there. Decent sized screens. Here's your stickers, because you got to sticker the blocks. And I just got done stickering Command and Colors Samurai Battles. You can check out my previous video, and that was fun. I don't like doing stickers, but these don't. There's not that many. There's only 2 little sheets here. So you can see some of the leaders there. Wonder if I have to do both sides. Hope I don't have to do both sides. All right, and then you get the game boards. Oh, these are nice. Nice thick boards here. Dual side, one-sided, because they'll be sitting on the table. Then that's the leader that you'll put that block on the board or the map, and then you'll keep track of their strength and their fatigue here. And depending on where they're at, this tells how many like combat dice they get to roll. Or, you know, I say combat dice, I mean, you can use the cards, right? So that's why there's a little card image there. That's how many different cards you get to draw for rolls. Or if you use the dice, then you'll do 2 dice. So if you have something on this, over this line here, you'll get to roll 2 dice or draw 2 cards, however you want to do that. So, and then if you get here to fatigue, this is your fatigue line. If it gets all the way here, then you're going to, you know, see the skull there? You know, that unit is routed or gone or left the battlefield. They no longer want to play. And these are the Prussians. And then you get the British here. I'm not sure what this means. I have to look that up, but there's some different, like there's a 7 gray and 1 purple. I'm not sure what that means. 2 red, 1 orange. I'd have to look that up. But you know what I mean. That's why you have to read the rules. And here's the French. They have the biggest by far, thick board there, and all the different leaders at the that come into play. Nice thick components, very nice looking. Here's your bags. You get one for the Prussians, one for the British, and one for the French. Nice bags there. I think these are the markers they use on these boards here to keep track of their the strength points and their fatigue. I believe that's the case. Here's your blocks. God, I just got done. I have block fatigue, and now my fatigue's gone all the way up. But some more blocks to sticker. So these are the different blocks. You have 3 different colors for the 3 different factions there. Then you have some markers here, like the flags for control. Yeah, these are all flags. So that's to mark the different locations. So pretty nice. I mean, those are decent size. And so, I mean, definitely a 3D effect here. You get cubes. Not sure what the cubes are for, so I have to read up on that. So here's your cubes. And you get a few more blocks there. These might be like more administrative markers maybe, and then you get some of those movements for retreat, and then some pawns here that might mark like game turns or something like that. You get dice, and the dice is custom. You got some pips, but you also have like this little X in a box on there. And this is supposed to represent the same as what the results that can happen on the cards as well. You got the plastic insert there. So cards go there and everything else goes in here. I'm not sure what goes in there, but let's look at the cards here. And they have the nice little strip there, which is good. Get that out of there. And then you got some blue and all kinds of different invasion. Some more French. And then the English and the British and the Prussians. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Kind of thin. I mean, not horrible, but maybe might sleeve them. I mean, if you sleeve them, might be enough room to put them back in there. Not sure, but not bad, but kind of thin. They look nice though. So you have some artwork or imagery on it. Then you have what it does, and then I think this is for combat, and again, that's for moving. So I'm kind of excited about this. I think these symbols here do something or mean something as well, possibly. Well, the Alien Emperor. That's Napoleon was sick this day. I think one account I read on that, the notion was that he had the piles that day. I don't know if that's the generally accepted version, but at least I remember reading that in at least 1 or 2 accounts of the battle back in the day. And I actually list out some books on Waterloo in my other video that I'll make a link to if you're interested or if you're not. Interesting. So there's the guard. So this looks interesting. It'd be interesting how this plays out. Then you've got so this is the invasion card. So no invasion, invasion +1. So interesting. These must be special cards or something. So there you have it. There are the cards that come with the game. As I said, so far, everything, the production quality is amazing. Very nice, very colorful, very clear. The cards look great. It's just that they are a little thin, on the thin side. But, that's just my first impressions. Let's get all this back. Let's get a hold of that map, because I think that map is going to be stunning, to say the least. So let's get into that. Move this out of the way here. And I might have to go up periscope on this to give us some more room on the map. Okay, it's a nice square map. And we're going to have to come up a little bit here. We're going to come up even more there. There we go. To get a full, to get this all in. There we go. We got to get that sword at the top there. There we go. So this is the map. You've got some turn tracks here. It's kind of a push-pull victory track. So like reminiscent of Twilight Struggle, that if you get all the way down to 0, then the French win. If you get all up to 20, I think the British and the Prussians win. So there's kind of this tug of war on victory points. And again, that's part of that is controlling different areas on the board. You've got some notation here, and it's kind of done in the style of these were like notes or a book that's laying on the map board. So you're kind of harkening back to Napoleon being on the battlefield, looking at in his tent, looking at the map, and then he's got some books where he kept notes and stuff. So you've got some notes here talking about like a key here. So what's a town, what's a village, what's a fortified, or what's a farm, all kinds of different stuff here. And then what are some of the effects of that? Just looking at it, I can't quite tell what the effects are, but once you read the rules, they'll probably become very clear. As I said, it's point to point. So you've got these little nodes here that you're going to be moving on. Quite frankly, a lot of Napoleonic and Waterloo games have a point-to-point type situation. You've got a little nice little, just thrown in for effect, like the compass up there, and then the turn track. There's the turn track. That's actually the sword. So if you look up to the turn tracks on the sword, maybe I'll do a close-up of that. You've got an event deck here where you can put your events at. There's a strawberry there, and a strawberry there. And here's that invasion. I don't know how that mechanic works, but that's where you probably put your invasion cards at. And then you've got some terrain. So these nodes are green here for the woods. I imagine that has some effect as well. You've got Brussels up there at the far top. And there you have it. Interesting. So let's go, there's Cote d'Ivoire. And let's go a little bit more so you can see a little bit more of the map up close. See that sword that has the turn track on? It's kind of cool. See a little up close on the map here. So you got some of these green nodes and the regular nodes, and then here's Waterloo right here. So Brussels, Waterloo, Cote d'Ivoire, Ligny, Namur, and of course I'm butchering probably the pronunciations, but that is what I do. So there you have it. This is Napoleon 1815. Yeah, I'm going 100 years in the future there. From Shakos, I want to thank them for sending this to me. This looks amazing, I have to say, right out of the box. I really like pretty much everything I've seen here. This is something that I really want to get to the table soon and try out some of those mechanics that I was explaining very poorly to you. But anyway, I want to thank Shakos for this. I want to immediately looking at this, I want to get into those other ones as well. But let me bite off this one, chew it up, digest it, play it, enjoy it, and then I'll look at Napoleon 1806 and 1807 when I get a chance. I'll need to get a hold of those, but this looks great. And you can never have too many Waterloo games, right? But this Conquerors Series, I think they all have somewhat of similar aesthetic, the way the maps and the blocks and the strength and the fatigue charts are all, I think, consistently the same through each one. I mean, they're different for each of those battles with different leaders, and there'll be different cards, but that same kind of feel and aesthetics of how they look and how they use, and that mechanic of strength point and fatigue and the way the dice work, I think that, or the cards being as dice, however you want to use that, I think that is a constant thread through these. And this looks interesting. I really want to get this to the table and try it out, do a little test drive, and then let you know my thoughts on that. But this is what you get in the box. If you guys have already got this, or if you've played, even if you want to talk about 1806 or 1807, love to hear your thoughts on it. What do you think about this series, this Conqueror series? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? Give me or anybody else a heads up on stuff that we might need to take a second look at or think about it. If there's something complex in the rules or something you don't like. If there's something you really do like, though, like to know that as well. So like to see a dialogue started. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for taking time to listen to me prattle on about this. But this is worth the look. And love to see some thoughts on this, on if you're excited about this, or if you've already played this, or if you played anything in the series. Thanks all, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.